Will Rhode Island once again recommend you wear a mask, even if you're vaccinated? That was the topic of discussion today with Governor Dan McKee following comments by Dr. Anthony Fauci over the weekend. Fauci said health officials are actively considering issuing a similar recommendation. 12 News reporter Anita Buffoni joins us now with what Governor McKee had to say today. Anita?
Well, Rhode Island, like other states, is seeing a rise in COVID-19 cases, but Governor Dan McKee is not overly concerned. He isn't planning any change in mask guidance at the moment, but if there is a safety concern, the state is ready to respond.
We're in a good place.
Just over 60% of the Rhode Island population is fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Although vaccination rates in Rhode Island are high compared to other states, the new case rate is climbing. By CDC standards, there is now, quote, substantial transmission of coronavirus in the Ocean State. But Governor Dan McKee is not too concerned.
I'm pretty confident unless something really strange happens with our hospitalization rates. We're still in that very low number.
On a national scale, Dr. Anthony Fauci voiced frustration with the slowdown in vaccination rates as the more contagious Delta variant becomes increasingly predominant.
We're going in the wrong direction. If you look at the inflection of the curve of new cases, and as you said in the run-in to this interview, that it is among the unvaccinated.
Fauci hinting top health officials are considering bringing back a mask recommendation for fully vaccinated people. And although Governor McKee has traditionally adhered to CDC guidance, he didn't say concretely the state would follow suit if there was a change to mask guidance.
We can hold the line right now. We're not in a position where we have to change dramatically, if at all.
Now, although it's unclear if Rhode Island will follow the CDC's lead if they change mask recommendations for fully vaccinated people, McKee said today he is following their guidance when it comes to masking in schools in the fall, which is vaccinated teachers and students don't need to wear masks, unvaccinated do. I'm Anita Buffoni, 12 News.
First tonight, Rhode Island now has substantial transmission of COVID-19. That's according to CDC thresholds.
The rise in cases we've seen over the last several days is continuing, though fortunately the health department reported no new deaths over the weekend and a small increase in hospitalizations.
12 News reporter Anita Buffoni joins us live in studio with what Governor Dan McKee is saying about the increase. Anita?
Well, Shannon and Mike, despite Rhode Island seeing a rise in new COVID-19 cases and the country's top health officials pondering the possibility of once again recommending masks for fully vaccinated people, Governor Dan McKee says moving backwards is our last alternative. Similar to what other states are experiencing, Rhode Island is seeing an increase in new COVID-19 cases. States with a rate of 50 or more new cases per 100,000 people over a 7-day period are considered to have, quote, substantial transmission of coronavirus, according to the CDC. New data from the health department shows Rhode Island's rate increased over the weekend to more than 57 new cases. But Governor Dan McKee isn't overly concerned.
Well, I don't think you pull an alarm unless there's a fire, and there's not a fire right now.
This comes as federal health officials consider reimposing a mask recommendation for fully vaccinated people. Dr. Anthony Fauci over the weekend says they are actively considering it as the Delta variant becomes more predominant.
We're going in the wrong direction. If you look at the inflection of the curve of new cases, and as you said in the run-in to this interview, that it is among the unvaccinated.
Governor McKee says Rhode Island is ready to respond if hospitalizations spike, but he believes the state is in a good place. Changing mask guidance or reinstating any restrictions, McKee says, should be a last-case scenario.
We don't want to take a step backwards.
And as for the state of emergency, Governor Dan McKee says Rhode Island's executive order will sunset when the federal government does the same. I'm Anita Buffoni, 12 News.